Have you ever been singing a song and suddenly thought, I'm running out of breath? Or maybe I just don't have enough breath to get through that phrase. Well, what if the problem isn't actually your breath? What if your breath is doing exactly what it's supposed to do, or something else in your vocal coordination isn't working efficiently? That's what I want to demonstrate today. I'm going to use a real example from a coaching session I recently had. I was working with a singer who was singing Breathe from the musical In the Heights. There was a couple of lines in particular that were giving her trouble. And everyone's sweet, they say you're going places, was one of them. She felt that she wasn't providing enough breath, and honestly, if you heard the way she was singing it, you could understand why she thought that. There was a quality to the sound that could make one think there was a lack of breath flow. And as the melody moved through the phrase, she wasn't consistently getting the notes the way she wanted to. So the natural assumption was, I need more breath. But when I listened to what was actually happening at the source, I heard something different. The vocal folds weren't maintaining enough closure. She was allowing too much of the vocal cord closure to release in an effort to create the stylistic quality of the song she wanted to replicate. And the result was interesting. Too much air was escaping, so she actually sounded as though she didn't have enough breath, when the problem was that the breath and the vocal fold adduction weren't working together. And that's where I want to start today. Before I show you what we did, I want to introduce the concept of source-filter interaction. We won't go too far into the science of it, just enough to understand what we're about to do. For our purposes today, the source requires two things working together: airflow and vocal cord closure. The continuous flow of breath provides the energy, and the vocal folds provide the resistance that allows the airflow to create vibration. If the breath stops, the vibration stops. And if the vocal cords release too much of that resistance, the balance changes and the source becomes less efficient. So we need both airflow and vocal fold adduction or cord closure to work together. That's what creates our acoustic source. And notice something important. We're not looking for maximum closure. We're looking for balanced closure. Then we have the filter. The vocal tract, the spaces and shapes above the vocal folds that shape the sound. And as singers, one of the most important things we manipulate with the filter is vowels. Think about what happens when you sing ah, then e, and ooh. Same source, different shape, different sound. So, source creates the sound, filters shape the sound, and they must work together. So let's get back to, and everyone's sweet, they say you're going places. The singer was concerned about breath, but before I gave her anything to do with her breath, I wanted to see what happened if we simplified the problem. Because sometimes the best way to solve a vocal problem is to take something away. And everyone's sweet, they say you're going places. That was the part she was having the challenge with. So I took the lyric away completely and had her sing the melody on a staccato bup, B-U-P. So bup, 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 bup. And we did this until she could secure each and every note, the first half of the phrase. Bup, 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 bup. And because we're using those hard consonants, we can be a little bit more aggressive with the approach to each and every note. Bup, 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 bup. And the second half, bup, 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 bup. This one was a little tricky at first, but as she settled into the sound, bup, 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 it became easier. The purpose here isn't to make it beautiful. The purpose is to confirm each and every note at the source, where the sound comes from. We want to find that connection through the melody. We're temporarily removing the things that can interfere: style, lyrics, consonants, complex vowel shapes, blending of vowels. We're simplifying the task. And now we can hear and feel what the source is doing much more clearly. So breaking it into chunks, rather than trying to manage the entire line all at once, we can secure these little musical patterns until the entire melodic line becomes one continuous vocal gesture. We find it, confirm it, connect it, and that's an important part of training the voice. Now, I wanted to start bringing the words back, but I don't want to immediately give her all of the consonants and all of the complexity of the lyric, so we change the beginning of the words to a B. For example, and everyone's sweet would become be-ba-be-ba-bee. So be-ba-be-ba-bee, and everyone's sweet, be-ba-be-ba-bee, be-ba-be-ba-bee, be-be-ba-ba-bee-bee. So that's, they say you're going places. It's a simplified version. We're using the B onset and the vowel pathway. The exact words aren't important here. What's important is what we're doing. We're bringing language back into the exercise, but we're still giving the source a very clear and consistent starting point. The B isn't the solution, it's simply a tool that helps us reintroduce the words while maintaining the coordination we've established. Now we take it one step further. We're going to remove all of the consonants, and this is where we're going to make sounds that sound completely ridiculous. And everyone's sweet. It's going to be everyone we, everyone we. Then they say you're going places. Hey, hey, oh, hey, yeah. Hey, hey, oh, hey, yeah. Sounds ridiculous, right? That's exactly what we want, because we're now exposing the vowel pathway. We're allowing the voice to move from one vowel to the next without the consonants. We're influencing the vocal pathway we're trying to establish. And here's the important thing for singers to understand. As singers, we sing primarily vowels. The consonants communicate the words, but the vowels carry the sustained sound. There are exceptions to every rule. So by temporarily removing the consonants, we can discover a more efficient path of least resistance through the phrase. Now that we've established that pathway, let's reinforce the coordination with an SOVT, a semi-occluded vocal tract exercise. You could use lip bubbles, you could use a straw, you could use puffy cheeks. So you could use any one of those, or now we're using a legato stance at the source. And this extra resistance with the lips almost closed allows us to find those connections. The point is not that the SOVT is magic. The point is that we're giving the voice another way to experience balanced flow plus vocal fold vibration. So now we have BUP vowels and that SOVT sound, and we're reinforcing the same musical coordination through different pathways. Now we return to the actual lyric. And everyone's sweet, they say you're going places. So what I like to do before we actually sing again is say the words out loud. So, and everyone's sweet. So if you look at and everyone's sweet. So we have and in the song we don't really sing the D, we sing en. Everyone's sweet. Now, there's an everyone's has an S and sweet has an S. And everyone's sweet. So if we just pronounce one S, we remove the D and everyone and everyone's sweet. So now it makes it, we've simplified the pronunciation. And then they say you're, they, T-H-E-H, they say say yo. Get rid of the R for a moment. They say yo. Now in the song she sings going. So go wing. Going, going, play, play, P-L-E-H-Y, play, says. You could S-E-H-S, says, or you could S-E-Z, says, or S-E-H, says. They say you're going places. And that's how we learn to link the vowel consonants together and eventually get the shapes sounding like we want in song. We've established the coordination. We've already confirmed the notes. We've already found the vowel pathway. Now we're adding the consonants back in, and we're using only enough consonant information for the listener to understand the words. We're not allowing the consonants to disrupt the vocal line. We're allowing the vowels to carry the line while the consonants communicate the words. And then when she sang the phrase again, something important changed. She wasn't thinking, I need more breath. She had a better relationship between the source and the filters. The vocal folds were maintaining a balanced adduction or closure, and the airflow could remain more balanced. The vowels gave the voice a continuous pathway through the phrase, and she could get the notes, sustain the sound comfortably, move through the line, and still communicate the lyric, and that's the important part. We didn't give her more breath. We helped her use the breath she already had more efficiently. Let's look at the original problem again. She wanted a certain stylistic quality, so she allowed too much of the vocal fold closure to release. That created less adduction, more air escaping, breathier sound, less stable sound. The difficulty in maintaining the notes was interpreted by the singer as I need more breath. But the real issue was I need more balance. Not more breath, not more closure, better coordination between the two. This is something I see all the time with singers. We experience a symptom and immediately try to fix the symptom. I need more breath, I need more volume, I need more blah, blah, blah. But before you add something, ask yourself, what is actually happening? Is the problem breath flow? Is the problem chord closure, laryngeal coordination, vowel shaping? Or is it the interaction between several of these things? That's why I believe singers need to learn to diagnose the voice before choosing the exercise. And that's really what we did in the session. We didn't randomly try exercises until something worked. We followed a progression. What is the voice actually doing? Can we simplify the problem? Can we confirm the desired coordination? Can we make that coordination continuous? Can we add the vowels and the consonants back in? Can we take it back into the song? That's training. So the next time you're singing and you think, I don't have enough breath, stop for a moment and ask yourself, is it really a breath problem? Because sometimes the answer is no. Sometimes the breath is there. The question is whether the source and the filter are working together efficiently. And that's something we're going to explore much more deeply in an upcoming webinar. We'll look at what the source actually produces, what the filter does to that sound, and how their interaction affects the sound you ultimately hear. And once you understand that relationship, you can start to understand why changing a vowel can sometimes change the way a note behaves, even when the pitch itself hasn't changed. That's where we're going next. But for today, remember, don't automatically add more. First, find out what your voice is actually doing. I'm Darcy D. This is the Virtual Voice Coach Method. And until next time,